All right, let's move on to the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And this is a good one. Fatal Bullet coming back. ZENSATIONAL has been superb and has the benefit of having run over this track before. And then you have GAYEGO, who looks so impressive. The world contingent, they're part of the Godolphin team, who look good winning in the Ancient title. Look at the U.S. lineup, and is ZENSATIONAL head and shoulders the one to beat? Above the rest of this group is the one to beat, you think?
I think so, Greg. I think the ZENSATIONAL and then everybody else as far as the U.S. camp is concerned. ZENSATIONAL, it's exactly that. How appropriate this horse is named what he is. I mean, he's had 7 starts, 5 wins, most recently in the Pat O'Brien, and he's been prepped for this race since then. And this is what he does. He just goes to the front and improves his position. If you want to go with him, go at your own risk, because he's going to go on and you're going to probably back up because he runs his opposition into the ground. He intrinsically is a very, very fast racehorse. He has a high cruising speed. I hate to use that cliche, but that's exactly what he has. And Bob Baffert, who's won this race twice with Midnight Loot and 30 Slew, said is one of the best horses he has ever trained.
And there's really not a ton of speed in this race this year.
No, there isn't, and especially not ZENSATIONAL speed. He's very quick, and he loves the all-weather synthetic surface.
Well, Graham, let's bring you in. It's Fleeting Spirit and then GAYEGO, and GAYEGO, very different running style than ZENSATIONAL that we're going to see in this race, but GAYEGO looked real good in that Ancient title win. What do you make of the world's chances in this race?
Yeah, I think the world's chances revolve around Fleeting Spirit as opposed to GAYEGO, and I'm concerned. I'm very concerned about ZENSATIONAL because Fleeting Spirit is a very smart sprinter on her day, but that is on her day. She doesn't always produce it. Last time out at Lawshaw was a really good effort when she was second in the Prix de l'Abbé, but she was too slow from the gate that day, and she just cannot afford to do it against the Americans at Santa Anita. The Europeans, they're not as quick out of the gate, so if she's not quick against the against the European horses, she's really going to be found out against the Americans. Now, if everything does go to plan and she does break well and take up a good position, she could prove formidable because she is very, very good. She is the best sprinter in Europe this year, as her July Cup win testifies. But if the Americans have a really good one in ZENSATIONAL, which it sounds as though you do, I think Fleeting Spirit might have to settle for second.
I think you hit it on the head, Graham. I think the problem Fleeting Spirit has is the gate. She had some gate woes at the l'Abbé. I think that race, wasn't it started and then restarted? And Jeremy Nacita, I read in a quote, was very unhappy with the gate crew in Paris that weekend. Unfortunately for Fleeting Spirit, I think by the time the gates open, ZENSATIONAL is going to be 4 lengths down the racetrack before she even exits the starting gate.
I mean, that could be a massive problem. I know Jeremy Nacita said in Paris he asked the stalls handler to put her in the stalls last, and he said they just didn't do that. They put her in too early and she pretty much went to sleep. So maybe if she goes in the stalls last in America, then maybe she'll be all right. But I'd still have slight concerns, and I'm afraid this one could be staying at home in America.
All right, well, Simon, fillies have had success in this race. I mean, they've run very well in this race before. She is a filly. She's the lone filly going up against the boys in this one. What about the other horse on this list, though, for the world, GAYEGO, who, I mean, he has a win over the track in the Ancient title. And he beat Crown of Thorns in that race. Garrett Gomez aboard. Let's take a look at it here. Comes from very far back, but this had to be encouraging.
This was visually very, very impressive. Just watch this race and see how visually impressive Garrett Gomez and GAYEGO are down the stretch. He angles him out. Typical Gomez move here, save ground. And he really doesn't get to the whip. He's just kind of throwing the reins at him, getting him to finish up here. But you have to look what's behind him. Crown of Thorns is a horse that only raced 4 times coming into this event, and is really a non-winner too. He's an allowance caliber type horse, even though he has a grade 2 win to his name as a 3-year-old. So yes, it was visually impressive, but it wasn't the quality of competition that we've come to expect in a race like the Ancient title, a key prep for the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
All right, flip the coin. I think I know where you're going. Tell us who you're winding up with, U.S. or the world?
Well, we're going to go U.S. in here. There's no doubt about that. ZENSATIONAL all the way.
Are you taking the chalk in every single race on Breeders' Cup Day?
Pretty much.
Unreal. Can you throw in a little something different at some point?
Prices are forthcoming.
Okay. Let's move on to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. The champ back for the U.S. in this one as well. And even though Ventura beat the boys up at Woodbine, and you were there for that race.
Yes.
At a mile on the turf last time out, she's going back to this race to defend her title.
She certainly is. This is going to be one of the best matchups between 2 U.S. horses on Breeders' Cup Day, and that is going to be between Ventura and Informed Decision. They both have similar running styles. Informed Decision is 6 for 6 on the synthetic surface. Ventura is 4 for 6. They will both be launching their moves from far back. Well, Ventura a little further back than Informed Decision. And may the best filly win. This is going to be one of the best races between those two on the card, I think.
Let's take a look. This is the Woodbine Mile for Ventura. Again, we know she is the champ. She hadn't raced since April when she lined up in this Simon on September 20th.
Yeah, this was a good performance. You can see her there. A very difficult filly to ride. When she hits the front, she kind of puts the brakes on. She's going to be one that never draws away, wins impressively, although she did in the Breeders' Cup filly mare sprint last year. But Gomez knows her. You can see her. She's looking around. Her head is up in the air there. She just gets a little lazy when she hits the front. She likes a target to run at. She will get plenty of targets in the filly and mare sprint. And someone who will get first jump on her, though, is Informed Decision. She will get about a length, 2-length jump on her, and Ventura will try and run her down.
Quick note in here, too. Sweetheart, her first choice actually was the dirt mile, but she was cross-centered in this race as well. She's not coming at all. She was scoped at her training facility in Chantilly just the other day. The scope did not come out clean. She's going to pass on the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, this is an easy one to pick here, Greg, as far as who's going to win this division. There's only one European entrant. That horse, I don't think, matches up against the likes of Ventura and Informed Decision. It's a 2-filly race in here. Ventura, Informed Decision.
Do you care to say who, or are you just going to go with the U.S.?
I'm just going to go with the U.S.
All right, that's all you need to do on this show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm putting you on the spot, though.
I know.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. The juvenile fillies, the next two that we're going to discuss. We'll be back. The U.S. versus the world continues in a moment.